we all had to put on these uniforms and get to meet each other and get to know each other as our characters. I only called him Rosie, he only called me Cros.
Super excited to talk to you about Masters of the Air, and I want to go all the way back to the beginning and talk about this boot camp, because it sounds like you guys had to go some pretty intense stuff before you even started filming. So would you tell me a little bit about your experiences there and how you feel like it prepared you for your roles? Anthony, do you want to start us off?
I will start off on it. So it was crazy. It was like, the normal rehearsal process. You go in, you have a conversation, you have a coffee, talk about the character. This, we showed up and there was a man in his 60s or 70s making us wear army uniforms, calling us maggots. It was a very different process than what we were used to. And we met each other in character, which was so bizarre. We all had to put on these uniforms and get to meet each other and get to know each other as our characters. I only called him Rosie, he only called me Cros. So it was like it was a unique process, and it was a very strange time, but it was like so enriching, and I think you see that on screen,
Absolutely. Nate, what about you? How was that for you?
I had heard him in, Dale Dye, who's an ex-Marine and kind of a legend in the field of military advisory, worked on Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers in the Pacific. He was leading all this for us, and there was what was unique about this series, though, was that obviously because it takes place in the air, we all had to learn how these machines worked and the equipment, Anthony plays a navigator, so you'd spend hours and hours, with the maps and trying to understand, what that role was like, and
so
for a bombardier and a pilot, so many maps,
so many paper cuts,
down
hard.
to. So that when we're shooting these scenes, we know where to look. We know which switches get flipped and when, and how these gauges all work. And we had military advisors on our radio saying, let's do that again. Let's make sure we get it right. You flip this one instead of this one. All in service of trying to make it as authentic as possible.
Absolutely. And it feels like it really added another layer of depth to the performances. Did it feel like the cast really banded together after this kind of intense first experience meeting each other?
Yeah, it did feel like we banded together. It was, everyone came together, and I think everyone had a good rapport. And we were saying the other day, it was a good group of lads. Like, there was no one who was an asshole. And you have 250 young actors. The odds are you're going to get a couple. And we really lucked out. And everyone was really sound. Everyone was very nice, and it was just a great experience. Everyone helped each other as well. Everyone helped each other. If you couldn't get something right with flying techniques, or you were struggling with it, because the uniforms are pretty tricky too. If you were putting on something wrong, or the May Wests and stuff, everyone was very helpful with one another.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait for everyone to get to see all the episodes. It's so wonderful to talk to you about it. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. This story is such a gripping story. And I'm curious, for you, what is the importance of getting to tell this story now and in such a broad, scoping way?
I think it's time to go back to World War II and show the audience when the world was in jeopardy, when somebody was trying to take over the world, was trying to take away our freedom, smash democracy. And because I see little bits of that, around the world today. And that kind of makes me feel good that we're getting back into it when the world was a little more black and white, and that we were brave and came forward, and young people risked their lives for the stuff that we all want to be, Sound weird?
Absolutely.
Does that sound like I'm jingoistic or something? But
no, not at all. I think that sounds like exactly what I might expect. It feels like a very prescient story to tell now, and it has a huge cast that is so wonderful in all of the episodes. Tell me about what you were thinking and going into bringing all of these people together to tell this story, because it really is a fantastic group effort.
It seemed like everywhere we turned, there was something else that was a big problem. The biggest of all, COVID. We were right smack in the worst part of it. We had 1,200 crew, over 300 speaking parts. And, if you were near someone and you got nicked or identified by the NHS in the UK, you were down. You had to stay in your house for 10 days. And so for a production, that was pretty bad. So we closed down, I'd say, for about 21, 22 days, different chunks of thing, depending on who went down. And all those kind of things were horrible. And we knew we had this huge task of trying to make this movie fly, trying to keep it in the air and real and all of that. And if it wasn't for these fantastic actors that we have, it wouldn't be possible. They were all like, hey, whatever, man, can do. You know what I mean? No grumbling, no nothing. They were all just solid citizens for us all the way through.
Absolutely. I mean, they went to boot camp for you.
They insist on boot camp. That's not really my thing, but Captain Dale Dye loves taking them through it, and they wanna do that exercise.
Yeah.
But anyway, the boys made it all bearable. How's that?
Bearable is always what we're looking for. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I can't wait for everyone to get to see Master of the Air. It's amazing. It's really wonderful.